Elves has kind of a cool thing about it in that it's
no
got like a
elves.
general core, but it's also got a lot of kind of customization options. He's playing Crater Hoof.
Yeah, he's playing no elves, natural order elves.
Yeah, natural order elves.
And
he's playing elves. You can tell me he's not playing elves. He said he's playing no elves.
First when I saw that, I was like, what's no bant mean?
Right.
I don't like. He doesn't like bant.
So,
he's playing natural order, and no it stands for natural order for those who aren't.
Probably be better if it's N period O period, just to make it clearer when it's like it says he's playing no elves, but I see elves on the board.
It's an odd
name.
This
is confusing. I hate Legacy. I love Legacy. So on the board, Riley Curran up a game with a Wirewood Symbiote and a Llanowar Elves next to an Elvish Visionary, and it looks like a Dryad Arbor.
Rug Delver has
Cradle.
He has 4 land out, which is a kind of an odd position for a Rug Delver to be in. You'll notice that Wastelanding Elves can be good at times when you hit Cradles, but a lot of times there are a lot of force in the Elf deck. So let's see. He's playing black. Let's see his mana base here. Actually, his version doesn't have a lot of force. We're at 1 force. Anytime I play against elves is usually a good little slew of them.
Yeah, you usually get like a handful of parts.
So you don't want to be blown out by the Wasteland decks.
Max McVety with a Tarmogoyf and a Nimble Mongoose in play.
Yeah, we're not sure where we're. Right now we're on Riley's turn. He took a beating last turn, put him at 11. And now he is using Green Sun Zenith for Visionary to draw a card. He has Cradle active, which with the symbiote is a lot of potential mana that he can draw a lot of cards, bouncing back Elvish Visionaries. I think he's a few. Let's see what's in his hand to see what he can actually do with it. He's got looks like he has 6 cards in his hand. A lot of cards. I see a couple of Misty Rainforest. So.
Yeah.
So he draws a card. That was an elf. I think it was like one of the Birch. No, it's Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like Abrupt Decay to me. Not in his main deck.
All right, Rug Delver has been silenced lately because of Abrupt Decay. Rug Delver has an extremely hard time with that card because Rug Delver depends on countering and protecting Goyce and playing threats and flip Delvers. They have nothing they can do against that card. It just kills their guy and that's it.
It hits pretty much everything that they play. Every permanent that they play that's non-land, and and they can't counter it. So basically, Nimble Mongoose is safe.
Absolutely.
That's about it.
Max sadly has a Force here, and he has a Delver in his hand. I believe he has a checklist card. I can't imagine that being Garrick Relentless here, or a Hunt Master. So I think it's a Delver, and I think he's deciding whether or not to play it as a threat or have a Force of Will fodder card. I think at current board state, it'll be tough for Max to just sit there and do nothing. I think he might have to just play it and pray, hope it flips, and then, maybe hit a bolt here to accelerate it. A solo Force of Will is not going to stop this train here. He drew a Ponder for turn. So he's going to attack with the Nimble Mongoose, which will get single blocked, and then bounce back. Due to the non-elf in the deck. He's an insect, I believe, right?
That's right. Wirewood Symbiote is not an elf, but it interacts well with elves. You can return them to your hand to untap them. Basically.
When you saw Riley fan his hand out, did you see every card being just a green spell there? That's a lot of money in that bank there.
All right, so Max draws a Force of Will.
Okay, so now you can easily play Delver, have Force to Force here. Cards to counter in these elf decks. The big one that comes to mind is Glimpse of Nature.
Right, Glimpse of Nature, and of course we know Natural Order.
Right, now Natural Order is one he has. I saw the Natural Order, the old Portal one there he drew.
Yep.
This will definitely mean a Force of Will if he tries it. But first, Riley can definitely play some elves there and get some mana advantage from the Gaia's Cradle. So here comes the
Elvish Visionary coming back.
Again,
yep, the one that chumped the Mongoose.
That's a Finhorn elf, I believe.
Yep, Finhorn elves there, drawn off of the Elvish Visionary, and it looks like adds a mana.
Replaying, okay.
Yeah. Untaps it, taps it again, replays it.
Another Abrupt Decay. Man, that card is a pretty good card for elves. it gives him an answer to a lot of hate out there.
Right, and it's cheap.
Yeah, it kills it. You think about it, even I don't know if anyone plays Engineering Plague anymore, but it's an uncountable answer to that. It kills any threat that's beating them in the face. I like it.
So Gaia's Cradle adds 5 here actually because Dryad Arbor is hanging out there. So there's 5 floating now, 4 floating. He's got a Finned Horn Elves. He's going to cast a Green Sun Zenith. Finds a Wirewood Symbiote. Should still have 2 floating unless he overpaid for the Green Sun Zenith.
Right, he might have. But what he definitely he definitely did. He's setting up this natural order here, which is going to get Force of Will, I believe. He's going to try to. I think he's going to try to give him the old hoof here after he gets a bunch of creatures out. Maybe next turn he might wait to do it. Let's see what else. Of course, he has the one that draws a bunch of cards, and that's the. I'm trying to remember the name of that card. I'm an elf connoisseur here. He's not playing the card.
You're going with Regal Force.
Yeah. I don't see any Regal Force here, do you? I see one. He's got one.
Yeah, usually just one.
So that's going to be the natural order target here. Hoof is obviously when you have many more creatures that have.
And you see the crazy interactions here. He plays Curran Dryad, which allows him to return a Forest to untap a creature. He has a second Wirewood Symbiote, which he Green Sun Zenith for, which allows him to return an elf to his hand to untap a creature. He can only use those abilities once a turn, so he's now used, I believe, 1 symbiote and definitely 1 symbiote and the Curran Ranger, or Curran Dryad, Curran Ranger. Sorry.
And the reason why
I don't think he used the second Wirewood symbiote, but
no, not yet. I think the reason why I didn't Crater Hoof there is because I think only 3 of his creatures had no summoning.
A lot of them were summoning 6. So well, Max just draws and says go. No attacks.
He's going to tap for a lot here. Here comes something nasty. There's a hoof. Hard way.
Yeah, he had to tap one more for the hoof there. So
here's the natural order will happen for Regal Force. He needs to draw pretty much his whole deck. I don't even know if he needs to. At this point, I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? Drawing a bunch of cards.
Sure, why not?
He's got the mana to do so.
He was pretty good in those Prime Speaker Zagana decks.
Yeah, here's the natural order for Regal Force.
He does have Regal Force in his hand?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, he doesn't. Okay.
I think he's getting it now.
Yeah, for a second I thought I saw it in there.
Oh, nope, Progenitus.
Progenitus.
That's even better.
So, natural order Progenitus.
Progenitus was out of the board. Okay, so...
Yeah, he wasn't main.
So he's actually using... He has natural order in the main, and Progenitus is a sideboard card, and that's obviously the original combo with natural order. But the elf deck can abuse it even much more to the point where they can kill you immediately with natural order with Crater Hoof Behemoth or Regal Force drawing their deck being able to do it as well. Progenitus is a little weaker, I think, due to the fact that you can get sweepered, right? Perished out of the game.
Yeah, it's protection from everything, but not indestructible.
Correct. So, obviously, Max doesn't have access to those colors. So, Max is chump block or killing a guy here. I don't know what Max could possibly have here to save him. He'd have to play
Lightning Bolt, and that's it. So
maybe a washout naming green.
The threat of Progenitus there for Riley Curran.
This seems like a nightmare matchup too. I mean, it's kind of like you have Rug Delvers based on these these cards like Tarmogoyf, if they can get through, they can just use Symbiote to block, bounce their guy out of their hand, and then play and draw a card again. It's like you can never get through on the ground, and then finally when you get a Delver in play, there's Abrupt Decay.
Right. Yeah. Having the Abrupt Decays in Elves does seem really good for this deck. It's an answer to a lot of the cards that you're just going to likely see in Legacy. I mean, that's what Abrupt Decay was touted to be as soon as people saw it spoiled. You know, it's uncounterable answer to almost everything in Legacy, besides the really, Jace the Mind Sculptor and all the guys that we're trying to reanimate. But
and if you look at this list, there's just nothing. There's just nothing new about it. This looks like an old Rug Delver list.
Yeah.
And like what I told you earlier, it's regional. You build your Rug Delver deck.
Yeah, that's
going to go and build a new deck?
Right, we were walking around and I said, it seems like a lot of Rug Delver around here, which seems strange because that deck kind of, for the most part, disappeared. It doesn't pop up as often anymore.
It's been abruptly decayed.
It abruptly decayed, sure. And here you see potentially why. It's still a strong deck, but once you run into Abrupt Decay, you kind of you're in it for an uphill battle.
Your good cards are no longer good. I mean, Wasteland against a deck that has 4 mana guys out by turn 2, it's rough.